in the full preview for 14.20, they are buffing Collector and Yuntal. And they are nerfing Static Sheaf. If you could see it, there you go. The Static Sheaf here, attack speed goes down by 5%, right? That's basically it for ADC items. So is this enough to bring crit back? I would say yes. Honestly, I feel like Yuntal is such a great item for Jinx. People don't even realize it. Yuntal is the best item on Jinx, best starter item on Jinx. It should be, but people don't realize. And it's a whole discussion we need to have because this is very important, okay? People like Collector a lot, and I don't get why. So let's compare, let's talk about the builds. First, the build I want to go for next split. Not next split, sorry, next patch. It's Yuntal, Boots, into Runan, into Infinity, LDR, right? And then something from here. That's what I will go for, probably, okay? Now, I said right now I'm going static into Kraken, right? That's what I've been doing this patch. It works, it's really good mid-game, kind of falls off later. That's kind of it, right? But the build path is so nice, the static shift is so good, that's why it's broken right now, right? No wonder it gets nerfed next patch. But I really don't like playing a build that's good now, that after 7 days from when I'm making this video right now, it's like, it's gonna get nerfed. So I'd rather just play with a build that works next patch as well, so I can get used to it, right? Yuntal will work. Yuntal works next patch, in my opinion, right? And let's talk about why Yuntal is so good and why Collector is not good, right? So, Collector and Yuntal, same price, 2,950, okay? Attack damage, Yuntal has 10 more attack damage, Collector has 10 less attack damage, alright? Cool. Okay, good. Alright. There's a difference in stats. Yuntal 10 more AD. Same price. So, what's the difference? Well, Collector has 10 more lethality. Okay? So, what's better, 10 AD or 10 lethality? Hard to say, right? It's very close anyway. In my opinion, I think attack damage is a bit better. Right? And attack damage scales better than lethality. Lethality is worse and worse as the game goes on. Right? But is the execute better than the serrated edge, the damage over time on crit? Right? That's the difference between the two items. That's literally it. When it comes to the execute, a good example, like a good reason, I have two really good reasons why I feel like the execute is not worth it. First of all, let's say you hit somebody, they are 6% HP, they don't die, right? And now you hit them again, they are 1% HP. It's like, oh, now you execute. It's like, it doesn't matter, you know, at this point. Or like you overkill a lot of the times. They're 6%, you hit them, they're 0 now. There's no execute at all anyway, right? So it's like, all the times you're not even going to use it really. It gets overshot. It's not very reliable, you know, in a way. And the fact that you get 25 gold is like, sure, bonus, I guess. I don't think that matters that much, especially if you don't get to snowball. Because if you get to snowball, it doesn't matter how to buy win anyway. And it's like, another reason why I don't think this is that good is because this doesn't scale at all. This is just 5% all game. That's it. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. It doesn't scale. You buy Runan after this, it doesn't scale. You buy Infinity Edge, it doesn't scale. It's the same. Right? But, you know, if you want to ult with Jinx, with Collector, yeah, you have a bit more of a threshold. You know, you deal more damage. Yeah, I can see why people like it, you know? But now let's go over to Yuntal and why I think Yuntal is going to be better. Especially same price. Again, remember, 10 more AD. Right? And that's because this bleed, it's 60 per crit, right? People think it's really bad. You know, it's not a lot of damage. But you gotta understand the fact that flat damage on something like Yuntal crit is much more valuable first item, especially because it's so cheap, compared to Infinity Edge, which is crit damage, because crit damage scales from your attack damage, right? And you might be like, okay, but if I go Infinity first, I'm just going to buy damage items, this is going to be better, right? Well, no. Because if you play crit items, there's two types of crit items. Attack damage items and attack speed items. And if you have attack damage item, you gotta buy an attack speed item. You can't just go AD, AD, AD. I'm not even going basic attack anymore. Right? You're playing Jinx, you're a basic attacker. You don't really deal that much damage with abilities. Hitting W is so unreliable on Jinx. You really can't rely on that. Right? So if you go Yuntal first or Infinity first, you're gonna go Zeal item second. Most of the time, like you have to, especially because, hey, Runan is overpowered on Jinx, we all know that. Hey, insane, right? But where I'm getting at is the fact that you buy AD, and second item is not attack damage. Which means, if you bought Infinity first, if the crit damage will not get bigger at 2 items. Compared to Yuntal, which is the same damage anyway. Right? It's like, you buy a second item attack speed, and you don't get punished because you didn't buy AD. Compared to Infinity, right? This doesn't increase. You buy Yuntal as soon as possible, and at 70, actually, sorry, it's 60 now, flat damage will just be better the earlier you get it. And after you buy a Zeal item, it's going to be the same. It's not like you get punished and so on. It's good, right? It's really, really nice as a first item, okay? And people, this shows here system buff. Right? People see this, the nerf to AD and bleed, and they think it's a nerf. But if you do the math, when it comes to gold efficiency, for this lower price, these stats are more worth it than the higher price and the higher stats. And what's cool about crit, and why I like crit builds so much in video games in general, is the fact that the more you have, the more crit you have, the stronger you get, right? So if an item becomes cheaper, the sooner can you buy more crit. You get this item now, you get crit. This is cheaper, it allows you to buy next item quicker, you get more crit. You get Infinity quicker because this is cheaper now. It's just so good. It's so nice to have like a cheaper item, you know? The problem with this patch, with this split actually at the start, is the fact that every item is so expensive on crit. After they reduce the cost on Yuntal, it's slowly but surely getting better and better. We buy crit faster and faster, we get to scale faster, right? And one thing that I wish they really fixed, you know, the gold issue with items being too expensive, they fixed. It's great. But what they didn't fix is the fact that if you look at any of the starter items, right, they all build from BF. Yuntal, BF. Collector, BF. Bloodthirster BF, Infinity BF, Essence River BF, right? Riot considers starter items Essence River, Collector, and Yuntal only for crit. That's what they say in patch notes and so on, right? They all build from BF. That's a big problem. Right? It's a big sword and a big problem because it's very awkward to buy BF before your first item in laning phase. Buying BF in laning phase is so lame. I really don't like it, you know? And Serrated Dirk costs 1000 gold and has 2 longswords. Look at this, serrated sword. Right? 1000 gold, 300 cheaper, and has 2 longswords. You know? Right? And it's like, why is this allowed? Because I guess it gives 10 lethality extra. So if you combine AD with AD, you can't just get AD. You have to get something extra as well, maybe. That's the logic, right? But at the same time, I don't mind BF. If you buy Infinity at the end, towards the end of your build, or you buy Bloodthirster towards the end of your build, it's like you're gonna buy BF to spend 1.3k gold. That's great. Because you're gonna have to wait, you don't have room in your inventory to buy more components. So having something more expensive is better later. But for starter item, you want cheap stuff. This is why a lot of people like Kraken on Jinx first. Look at this build path. You have 3 swords and 2 daggers here. And then cheap epic item components here as well. This is why people like Kraken still, you know? And yeah, it's something funny about this BF start on starter items, right? Imagine if mages had to start with Needle Siraj Rod. Right? Imagine they needed to start with Needle Siraj Rod. They made it even cheaper for them for some reason. But for ADC is unacceptable, right? Let's look at Malignance. Cheap, 2.7k. oh, look at this build path. You have cooldown, mana, AP. You have this is like a pickaxe. This is like a long sword, right? It's so cool. It works together very nicely, you know? Look at, I don't know, Luden, I think is a starter, right? Less than 3,000. Longsword, longsword, longsword. Combine for free. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Right? Imagine they made this something different, you know? Comparable to this. BF and that, right? Everybody would cry. It would not be acceptable. And yet, for ADCs, buying BF sword at the start is okay somehow. It's just okay to do it. If you're an ADC, you're supposed to get more gold. Guess what? Mid wave spawns 6 minions every wave. 7 when it's cannon. Top wave does the same. Bot wave does the same. Yeah. So it's like whoever gets the kills gets to purchase more items. Riot assumes ADCs get the kills all the time. It's not true. It's just not true. It's so hard to get kills, especially against an ADC, because you deal peanut damage anyway. Support still a lot of them anyway. It's like you have the same gold as other classes. They struggle to buy a Needle Steel Arch first item, of course. And you don't give them Needle Steel Arch at the first base. But for ADC, somehow it's acceptable that they have to buy BF Sword in their first item, you know? I like that they buff the price of Yuntal and Collector. That's really good for first item. That's the first step, which is great. I'm so happy they did it. I really wanted that. And that makes me want to build Yuntal again. But they just need to fix BF, right? Letting BF not have components, I think is okay. Because there's an easier way to fix this problem. You replace BF Sword with a pickaxe. Right? Because this costs 1,300, this is 1,300, which is 2,600, and the total cost is 950. Right, 950. So you buy this and that, and the total cost is 350, right? Okay, what if you replace BF with pickaxe, and then the total combined cost will be higher? Isn't that better for us? I think that's better. Rather than staying on a BF and a Nun Quiver with 350 left to go for that. I'll have a pickaxe, this, and then just save up for this eventually. I think that would be better for me, because basing, when it comes to ADCs as well, you gotta understand, there's something really important early game about attack damage on most ADCs. Exceptions happen, like Draven, he has X's and so on, right? But let's say you need to farm under turret, okay? Caster minions take a tower shot, then you need to hit them twice before, you know, so they die. But if you have 20 attack damage, which is 2 longswords, or a pickaxe, which is 25, you can one-shot the caster after it takes 1 tower shot. And that's really cool. It's so nice. But if you look at this build path, it's like, okay, first recall, I have, I don't know, 900 gold. By a longsword, maybe a crit, maybe some attack speed from boots. Okay, cool. I'm under turret, I can't farm under turret. It's very annoying. Right? Packing with less than 1,300 gold as a crit ADC sucks. It's a very big problem, and I think it's one of the main issues about crit, and why people like Collector first. Because, hey, look, yeah, it's a BF, sucks, but at least I have the option to go double sword into serrated, right? It's way nicer. Ooh, Essence River. I like Essence River. Why? I can buy 2 swords here. It's really cool. Oh, Old Nun Quiver. Old Nun Quiver used to have 2 swords and a dagger. That was so cool. You recall 700 gold because you got a kill early, push a wave. Buy 2 swords, you're good to go, right? Kraken Slayer, right? Damn, look at that. Swords. Ooh, Static Shiv right now, right? Static Shiv. Cool, I get pickaxe. If I don't get pickaxe, cool, I get sword or even electrics, right? Sure, you know, it's not the 20 attack damage you need to farm the turret. But at least, oh, look, it gives you movement speed to get back to lane faster at least, right? It's giving you something, you know? It's way nicer for the start compared to, you know, this, right? So this is my only problem I have with Yuntal, right? And I feel like Collector has the same issue where the BF sword could be a pickaxe as well. Say with Essence River, it could be a pickaxe as well, right? But I feel like Yuntal really needs the pickaxe because it doesn't have 2 swords here, right? And starting crit early game is really bad. It's only 15%, doesn't give you much DPS compared to attack damage because crit doesn't give you any extra ability damage compared to attack damage, right? W on Jinx would do more damage with AD. With crit, it doesn't. Jinx has no scalings. Jinx doesn't scale from crit, he doesn't scale from AD, it only scales from AD, nothing else, right? Sure, W cast time from attack speed, whatever. She has no crit scaling. This is not good by itself. That's the problem, right? So, you know, I can see why people don't like Yuntal. Many reasons. But I still, when you do the math, Yuntal is just more damage. And it scales the best out of all the items. And it's going to be cheap finally. And it gives you Infinity Edge at home, which is nice, right? Is the price of Yuntal is changing? Is the build path changing? No. I wish they did it, right? They need to change the build path. Make it a pickaxe, not a BF. Then everybody would be way happier. It would be way nicer, right? But even then, it's not perfect. I wish it was like serrated, but sure, keep the BF sword big. I don't mind it, whatever, it's fine, you know? It is what it is. And yeah, that's it for the first items, right? The biggest problem with crit is the first item. That's the biggest problem. That's what they need to fix. Reducing the price for Mutal Collector is the first step. If that's not enough, they gotta do something about the BF sword. That's the next step. Because this is the core problem. Buying a BF sword, a needed Silage Rod at first item, it's just not great. It just sucks. It makes you greed. You see you have 1,200 gold in your bag, and instead of taking a good recall, you're just gonna greed for a plate, and then you ruin your lane from it. I see it all the time when I coach people. It happens so often. Why? Just because this BF sword doesn't have components, man. Like, it's so stupid to see. It's not fun. That's the problem here. It's not fun. They need to fix it. It's a big problem that's affecting every single crit ADC. Everybody can feel this. Yet nobody talks about it because they say, screw that, man. I'm going Kraken. I'm going Static here. I'm going Collector. I don't care. So yeah, I mean, even Collector's BF, it doesn't solve the problem, but at least it has 2 swords, right? So yeah, this is what they need to do. They need to fix the build path here a bit. And then this item will become godlike, right? People will still hate on it. They say, oh, they took a 4th item and they made it into a 1st item. But this is literally Infinity Edge, but for flat damage early game. So Yuntal is great. It is so much damage as well if you look at the data and like do testing yourself, right? But enough about first item, guys. And I want to make this clear. So many people complain. Yesterday, I played League. I went with the Kraken static shift build. We lost a game. Everybody complained about my build is dog shit, insane. Wow. Right? This game, today I played with Yuntal first. 2 games. Everybody complains about my build. Like, I'm gonna stop caring about what people think about builds anymore. I'm losing my voice already. It's like everybody looks at the build and says, nah, that's not good. They never take time to think about it, right? So I'm gonna trust myself more in making the decision because I'm doing testing and I feel like I know more about this than majority of players, right? Especially when it comes to Jinx. So this is why right now and next patch as well, I'll go Yuntal, Boots of course, Runan. Don't even get me started comparing Runan to Phantom Dancer. There's so many examples of Runan destroying everything. It's more fun as well. It's just better on Jinx than Phantom Dancer. I don't care. It's better. Sure, if you don't like it, go Phantom. That's okay. Again, this is my opinion. I'm making these decisions based on the experience I have playing the game, right? If you want to listen, that's okay. If you don't, if you want to adapt to your playstyle, that's really good as well. Because if something works for me, it might not work for you as well. But in my opinion, Runan is the best item on Jinx, period. It's just insane what this item can do. And even better, Runan Hurricane, bolts, besides the fact that they can crit, besides the fact that they got buffed, right, to 55% physical damage, they apply Yuntal. You crit with Runan in teamfights. Yuntal bolts, like Runan bolts hit with Yuntal. And guess what? This deals 60 damage per crit. The Runan bolt on a target will deal not 55%. No, it will deal 60 damage per bolt. Yes. It's insane. It's crazy. I know, it's Yuntal Runan is great. It's a great idea concept. It's great. It's amazing. If they fix Yuntal, build path and price. The price they did, right? Reduced by armor, of course, I know. But this is why later in the build, after you got your 2 items, hey, look, we have Infinity and LDR now. Yippee! Right? So, third item is a very interesting discussion, guys. It's a very, very interesting discussion because Infinity Edge, you need to sell a kidney for it. And there's a lot of tanks right now. Tank items are strong. It's like, damn. It's like, should we buy LDR third or no? I would say most of the time Infinity third is best. But if they legit have insane tanks that are building armor already, not just HP, you should go LDR. Right? It's like, if I can afford BF on base, I go Infinity. If not, I go LDR. That's also fair, right? I feel like third item, it's up to you to decide. Do I need armor pen quick or no? That's it. Up to you. I would say generally Infinity third does better. Generally. Exceptions happen when they have beefy tanks, right? And let's talk about what Azrael is saying in chat. He's really a Yuntal hater. All champs have at least 50% armor reduction, so it deals 30 damage to squishes. Correct, I agree. But it's like, so does any other item. Everything you buy deals 50% damage to squishes because they have armor. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So what? How does that statement, which is correct, make Yuntal worse? It just doesn't. 30 damage, I'll take it. It's good. I'll take it. Cool. You don't want it? I'll take it. Right? Yeah. Guys, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just gonna listen to myself when it comes to items because I feel like majority of people don't really think much when it comes to items. They kind of will go with the feel of it, not with the math, right? That's kind of where I'm getting right now. And I think that's also valid. It's a game. If something works better for you, you enjoy it more, you should definitely go for it. It's like me playing Jinx when she's not meta. I feel like it will perform better on Jinx when she's not meta compared to playing a meta champion. Why? Because I just enjoy Jinx more. I play her more. I have more experience with her. Okay? So, yeah. You know? It's cool. Alright. And after you buy this, last item, most of the time Bloodthirster, GA, Borg, because everybody abuses Heartsteel. It's an option last, I would say, for sure. It does the job. Right? Because you got your crit maxed. And that's kind of about it. That's the build I'm gonna use. I don't plan to change it soon because they're finally fixing Yuntal price. Right? I wish they fixed the BF, but that's another problem. But I just like Runan Hurricane so much. And Jinx should be a crit ADC. She should be an auto attacker with crit. That's how she should be. That's how she was designed. And if she's not, the game is the problem. Game is not balanced. That's why static Kraken works right now on her. It's a problem. But they're trying to fix it. And personally, I like playing crit more. Even though it's not optimal. Some patches, I don't care. Runan Hurricane is just too fun. Too good on Jinx to skip, I feel like. You know? I just like it so much. It's so good. I know the potential of this item. It feels like you're missing out on a lot if you don't get it. Playing with Static Kraken for a while, I noticed the absence of Runan. It feels like some fights, enemies are stuck, and it's like, I should be popping off there, but I'm not. Because I just don't have the AoE. And Jinx is supposed to be an AoE ADC. Not a single target, like Vayne ADC. Right? So Runan just helps you do your job better, and it scales with Yuntal again. It's insane, right? When it comes to runes, little temp or press the attack, I think it's up to everybody. Do what you want. right? I prefer little tempo. I think it's more DPS on average every game because the attack speed is just that good. Especially if you go crit, you have less attack speed, right? Makes sense to go for this, especially on Jinx. Presence of Mind is a must. You need mana. Unless you go Essence River, then sure, go Absolute Life. If you like Essence River, go Absolute Life. Or Triumph, I guess, sure. If not, Presence of Mind is a must with any other item besides Essence River start, for sure. Beat Kraken, beat Static, beat Yuntal, Presence of Mind. And as for these, the legend ones, I really don't think Bloodline is good. It gives like 4.5-ish, 4.85 I think is the math, percent lifesteal, which is just not great, because you just keep your Doran Blade, which gives 3% I think, and yeah, right? But one of the reasons why I like Alacrity is because if you go crit, right, which is one attack speed only item, which is Zeal item, which is like Runan in my case because I'm Jinx, you need Alacrity because you don't have enough. And it scales good with little tempo as well, right? But if you go Kraken Static, for example, and go very attack speed heavy build, 2 attack speed items, maybe Bloodline is fine. Honestly, I think this is one of those choices where it's up to you. I personally just like damage. I don't think lifesteal does it for me. I'm just not gonna sell my Doran Blade and that's it. That's me. Bloodline, I think it's fine to go Bloodline. I think it's okay. But I prefer Alacrity, right? Now, as for the last row here, last 10 doesn't make sense. You're an ADC, right? It's coup de grace versus cut down. Cut down on average, you take every single game. Cut down deals more damage than coup de grace. That's proof. That's not proof. That's 100% correct. That's just true, right? Now, do you value a bit more ult damage with coup de grace? Do you want to execute more, right? But cut down is just better early game especially. And if enemies have shields, cut down is better again. You just deal more damage on average. So I think cut down is just the best on ADC. If you are an assassin, yeah, coup de grace makes sense. On ADC, cut down usually makes more sense. Again, this is not that big of a difference. If you like coup de grace more, go for it. Why not? Go for it. I'll still with cut down, it's more damage. Now, secondary runes, okay. Magical footwear is 300 free gold and 10 movement speed. Cashback is you buy your first 2 items, you still get like 300 gold. Okay? So it's the same. The save up for feed is the same, basically, if you go crit, right? Doesn't matter. I prefer boots here. And then, of course, biscuits, because Jack of all trades not really good on Jinx. Not really, no, not really. Don't get the stats. And you don't need approach, you don't land W consistently. Cosmic Gisa is an option. I'd rather go for potions for free, personally. It's kinda it, I don't know. Don't have that many options here. I think boots are just the best. It just helps early game, right? But I feel like secondary runes are personal preference 100%. Because while you go for these for a better early game, let's say, you could go for sorcery if you're lower elo, because games last longer. This scales with level, this scales with game time. Better in late game. So it's like, hey, if your games are longer, this is great. For me, the only reason I would go for this right now is because it's easier to farm. Because sometimes you hit 2 rockets on an enemy caster wave, and they escape 10 HP. Alright, so you have to hit 3 rockets. Well, you get this, and suddenly you need 2 rockets again. Yay, yippee, you know? Yippee, you buy a longsword. If you don't have this, they take 4 rockets to die. You have longsword, you get this, 3 rockets to die. It's just easier to farm if you go these runes. On top of the extra attack damage, which, you know, it's not a lot in the early game. But it adds up. You know, it's there. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you. Now, do you value more damage, more attack damage scaling? Or do you value sustaining lane and free gold? Because at the same time, 300 free gold is damage. You know? Right? So it's like, it's so hard to say. If you have mana issues, mana flow, woohoo, I don't think it's that good though. If you have movement speed, Nimbus Cloak, it's like, we have so many options. It's insane. Isn't that crazy? We have options. I feel like secondary it's hard to say what's best. I think it's game dependent and personal preference because, hey, look, conditioning overgrowth. Hey, you can take this. This helps you survive longer. They have, I don't know, poke bot lane? Bomb plating, maybe. I don't know. Actually, this is more against burst, I guess, right? Maybe, I don't know. Demolish, I don't know, maybe you're crazy, but you know, I think this is a good option if you want to be more tanky. When it comes to domination, it's like Treasure Hunter is popular by champions like Draven, for example, and Samira, because they rely on snowballing to win. If you play Jinx, I mean, you don't really want to rely on snowballing, you know? It's like, you don't get kills early. You don't want to rely on the fact that you get kills early, you know? It's not good. So I don't see the domination tree that useful for Jinx. I don't really get much value out of this, honestly. I don't know. Like this, like that. I don't see it. Right? So it's like, wanna be tanky, go this. Want better early game, go this. Wanna play for scaling, maybe a lower elo, games are longer, go for this. And I think that's it. There's no correct answer, it's up to you. Same with the things here, Alacritic, Bloodline, right? Press attack, little tempo, cut down, coup de grace. It's up to you. I think it's not that big of a difference, honestly. It's like, it's fine whichever you go. Honestly, next patch, if I go Yuntal Runan with Biscuits Boots, and I just can't two-shot the wave after I buy Yuntal, for example, without critting, maybe I'll switch over to this. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll try next patch, but it's either this or that for me. I doubt it's going to be this, though. I really doubt it. And maybe this, if I'm against assassins, but I'll probably just go for this. It's cool, I don't have to buy potions, I get biscuits. Yay, I like I'm used to this already anyway. So good. And now let's talk about what other builds people use, right? First of all, the Kraken Phantom Dancer, right? Let's go to u.gg Jinx. I'll show you. Okay. This is the most popular Jinx by far. The most popular Jinx build by far, sorry. So why do people go for this and not go for Yuntal and so on? Well, first of all, it's because crit items are not the best shape right now, right? But you know why people go for this build? The main reason, in my opinion, is because crit, like Kraken Slayer, was something we went for years. But because it doesn't give crit anymore, it's not that good on crit builds, right? But at the same time, Kraken by itself just deals damage, which is kinda, you know, what happened? Where's the items? What is this website? Okay. It's like, Kraken feels good to play with. But because it doesn't give crit anymore, it just gets outscaled, right? But because games are not long, it doesn't matter if you get scaled. Because you play for mid game anyway, because games are over by 20 minutes most of the time, right? It's like, I wish we could be able to purchase our items sooner, right? So this is why people like going Kraken. It just gets spike faster. Better mid-game kinda, right? But I feel like, at least, you know, sure, go Kraken first. Sure, you want Zeal item second, which I'll explain two reasons why, actually one good reason. I'll just give you a good one, right? So if you go Kraken first, and they go Zeal item second, you see how you only have 45 attack damage? You see, it's not great. You only have 45 attack damage. It's like, you shoot pebbles, you know? It's like, would you rather shoot nukes at the enemies, or would you rather shoot pebbles like 100 per second? I think a nuke is more powerful, you know? So, you know, and besides this, starting Kraken, right? It makes your items later weaker because you just don't have crit, right? But again, games are short on average. Kraken is better early game than crit at the moment because crit items are so damn expensive. Thank God they are changing it. They are making it cheaper. But people like playing for early game, early mid game more right now rather than crit, which scales. Because games are just shorter, people's mental is very bad. If you don't win your lane, people FF. So this is why they do it. Right? And is this okay for the game? No. But we should adapt how the game is, right? But you know what? I feel like even if you go Kraken Phantom, in my opinion, honestly, I feel like Yuntal Runan just does better. I think it just does better in my opinion. This is why I'll go for this build. And Yuntal is cheaper than Kraken next patch by 150 gold. So it's like, I think it's better. It outscales this by a long shot. 2 items is very solid and it's cheaper. Right? So another reason why we do not want to go for this. And I'm going to be able to farm easier, farm faster, get prio faster. Another good reason, right? Because Runa is insane. And I'm going to be able to scale better. Right? And again, I wish games were longer, but it is what it is. You know? That's how it goes. Right? So that's kind of all I had to say here, right? It's like, even if you go Rune on second here, it's again the problem of delaying crit and just not having attack damage early, right? Which is annoying. Especially because ability don't scale from attack speed, they scale from attack damage, okay? So that's all I had to say pretty much. This is my logic, my reasoning, guys. And I feel like either I'm the one that's crazy or everybody else is crazy. Because to me, this just makes more sense than whatever else there is to it. To whatever else people are bidding on Jinx right now. And another good reason why this makes more sense is because you can buy your LDR faster compared to going Kraken. You go Kraken, Phantom, Infinity. It's like, okay, cool, now you buy LDR. It's like, or you buy LDR third, but now you don't have attack damage, you don't have crit. It's like, you know, not buying crit on crit build is bad. The only reason it works is because people mental is very bad and games end too quickly and people FF. That's why it's not working as well as it should. In a perfect world where people want to play the games out, pure crit is better, right? But because it's not, people adapt and want to play better early game, right? That's kind of what it is. But personally, I'd rather just play more crit. I think it's more solid overall. And majority of people are lower elo, so crit, pure crit works better on average for them as well. That's my opinion on it. And that's what I'll do as well. Right? What about the stuff you're doing? Static Kraken? Static gets nerfed, Yuntal gets buffed. I don't see a reason to go Static Kraken anymore next patch. Right? The reason I'm doing it now, it's because I'm in the Yuntal build right now. It's because I want to prepare for next patch in advance. I want to get used to it, right? Okay. So anybody has any other question about this? Did I make my point clear? Right? Anybody has any questions? Because I feel like there's no flaw in my logic right now. I think it makes sense what I talked about. And I want to hear your opinion about this, guys. If anybody has anything to say about this. Right? Because I just don't understand why people look at my build and say this build is bad. Right? They just look at it, it's bad. But you ask them how is it bad? Give me something. Why? And they say, Kraken is better. I ask them why? Well, because that guy plays it. Okay, but that guy knows better? I don't know. You know, it's like I'm done listening to other people's opinion about Jinx build because I'm pretty confident I know better. Okay? Right? I'm pretty confident I know better. You know? And right now the crit ADCs are a bit weak, and that's why every build kind of feels bad. You know? But it is what it is. It will change. Don't worry. Right? OTP Jinx does not the build Kappa. I mean, you saw that game where in pro play, right? The guy, what was Hans Sam, I think, right? He was playing against Cassante and he didn't buy LDR until last item, right? And you say, oh, you should build Kraken because pros build Kraken. They know better. But that guy didn't know to buy LDR against Cassante. You know? So, yeah. I'm sticking with this. I think this is pretty much what Jinx wants. Right? And if anybody disagrees, they are free to do so. But if anybody tries to argue that what I'm doing is not correct, I'm just gonna ignore it, and I don't care about their opinion, because this works for me and this works for most people in my opinion. Team Discussante kill mid ADC, so no LDR. True. Right? So yeah, I'm done arguing, guys. From now on, I will not argue about builds anymore. I'm done. Okay? Because it's very tiring me. It's tiring me because I play League. In every other game, people complain about my build. I go stream League as well. Every time people complain about my build, they say, why not building this and that and that. It's like, okay, I'm done. This is what I built. This is what I'm sticking with. I explain my reasoning. I'm done. There you go. If you don't like it, shut up. Do something else. Go somewhere else. I don't care. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. This is what I will do. Okay? So this build is best right now. Right now, I think this build is tied with Essence River start. It's tied with Kraken start. It's tied with Static Kraken start. But next patch, in my opinion, Yuntal will just be better. That's my opinion. I think it's going to be the best build on Jinx. No questions asked. That's what Riot is trying to do as well. They want to make Yuntal a starter item for Jinx, especially with Ronan, right? That's what I want to do as well. Because it just makes sense.